Before you kick off your new diet in this new year, a surprising new study just out shows that a few extra pounds might actually be good for you. A new study finds people who are moderately overweight live longer than people who are either skinny or obese. But that study is stirring plenty of controversy. Let's talk about it with Dr. Marty Makary, a physician and professor of public health at Johns Hopkins University. We've always been told, doctor, that you get a little overweight, you ought to get back to your normal weight, get back to a more desirable body mass index. What's with this new study?
Yeah, who would have thought, John, that being a little bit overweight, a couple extra pounds, maybe 5 or 10 pounds, could have some protective effect? Now, the research is basically an assembly of all other research studies, and the effect was very small. But it's important to remember that the overall effect of being very obese or being 20 or 30 pounds overweight was very detrimental. So this little blip right now is hard to explain.
Well, maybe it has to do with stress. I mean, a lot of people worry if they put on a little extra weight, so maybe that has something to do with it. But there isn't really any clear answer here?
The other thought that people have is that this research looked at all-cause mortality. So it's factoring car accidents and falls the same as it is heart disease. Now, maybe having a little extra padding can be protective when you're in an accident. Who knows?
And then there's the study about sucrose. Some interesting findings about sucrose and versus glucose and why sucrose, fruit sugar, might not necessarily be so good.
Very interesting study in today's Journal of the American Medical Association looking at the two types of sugar that we routinely see, fructose and glucose. It shows that fructose may be worse for you because it may shut off your ability to feel full, or that satiety reflex, whereas glucose may shut that down, giving you that sense of fullness. Now, fructose is sweeter than glucose. It's also more likely to be in American Western diets because it comes from things like corn and sugarcane. Glucose is more in fruits and natural things.
And worse than fat in causing obesity?
Absolutely. Now, sugar is increasingly being recognized to have surpassed fat in terms of the things that we should avoid in our diet. You know, when I go to the grocery store, the first thing I look at on a nutrition label is the amount of sugar in something. Sugar affects you in a hormonal way. It increases your insulin levels. It affects your fat metabolism, and it may, in fact, contribute to a lot of the excess body weight.
Real quick thought about a story that Jen has actually